So the Boston REIA has the opportunity to train and teach members all over the country now, thanks to COVID. So we'll give it up to COVID. Welcome new members. Welcome to past members. Let's give yourselves a round of applause for showing up. People who show up get success. The people who don't show up, well, they don't even know that stuff was even happening. Right? Deals were going on right in front of them. They didn't even know because they didn't know what to look at or who to talk to. There is one rule. I've got to read this liability disclosure for you. I'm going to read it fast, but basically it just says be a decent human being. The liability disclosure for the Boston REIA assumes no liability or responsibility for any outcomes of any real estate transaction, decision, or other action that any Boston REIA member or visitor enter into as a result of attending any meeting, listening to any guest speaker, or talking to any Boston REIA member, guest, visitor, or person. Hands to the camera if you admit you are an adult. You are responsible for yourself, your own decisions. And if ever you get into a deal with somebody today, tomorrow, this week, listen to a speaker and you're convinced that this is the right thing to do and it doesn't work out for you, let us know. We really do care about your success. If something doesn't work out, we want to hear about it. And scan if you commit to share with us your feedback for anything that happens here at the Boston REIA. Excellent. Thank you. We will handle as much as we can, but we are not in any way liable for any loss of money, any bad deals, anything that could go south or wrong. At the end of the day, every deal I've ever done worked out because I was committed to it working out. I could never blame somebody else when I was taking advantage. I could never blame somebody else when I did a deal the wrong way or I didn't negotiate myself into a good position. I took responsibility. I took it as a learning lesson. I reached out to a mentor. I reached out to a partner, and I found a way to make it better. At the Boston REIA, we want to give you those resources, but we also don't ever want to get sued. We agree? Yes? Awesome. We are the largest trade association in the world, in the US. The National REIA allows discounts by being the biggest. Hands to camera if you know, too big to fail, right? You get opportunities by being big, by playing with the big boys. We got Home Depot. We've got Real Protect. We got Equity Trust, which, by the way, a great program for getting your own capital. Kelly, I see your beautiful hand. Go ahead. You're up. You're holding the hand up? You're like,
sorry, Walter. I was actually trying to react, raising my hand, but not for a question, just to say yes, yes.
Oh yeah, let's give Kelly Weirman a round of applause. She is so in the game. She is paying attention. She's all in.
Paying attention.
Awesome. So the Boston REIA, obviously we play with the big boys. You want discounts, you got to be in the REIA. You want access to the $1,500 that I saved by being a Boston REIA member. You got to be a part of the membership, right? You got to get that membership because Home Depot basically saves me that much money. It's almost like having a check for my company. Hands down if you'd like that $1,500 saved. Wait till you find out what the price of the Boston REIA is. It's like getting a Sam's Club deal where you save so much by being able to buy at that discount. But there's more. But wait, there's more. Boston, we are number one. We're number one in deal flow, in networking, in education, and investor resources. We have so much for you because it's all about your success. It's about getting you to the next level. It isn't about just, hey, get together, high five, the guy says, hands to camera here and there. This is about you buying real estate. This is about you being profitable. In fact, the reason I contribute my time here is because I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. Hands to camera if you get behind that, right? If you make some money, you're going to go and share it with some other people, right? You make the $1 million, you're going to go and pay it forward to somebody else. Awesome. I agree. You can hang with us. We have partners. Do we have any of our partners here tonight? These are our private money, hard money partners. Capital, Universal Capital, Monteverde, or JM Real Estate. Anybody?
Hey,
here?
Walter, they said they were going to try. They have some other events they're speaking at tonight, and they were going to send their second team in to speak on their behalf, but I guess I don't know what happened, but yeah, thanks for mentioning them, at least in the slide. And then on our website, you can find links to all of them and what specifics they offer in regards to their money programs. So they're all different and they're all good, depending on what type of investing you're doing. So we have tons of money from both partners and our members available to you.
Hell yeah. Let's give it up for the Boston REIA. We got savings. We got money. Who's ever said that I need more money to do a deal? Has anybody ever said that before? I need the money to do a deal. We got the money, right? We're solving problems. We're taking names. We've got the money for you to do your next deal. Who's ever said they don't have a deal? They want a deal. You need to find deals, right? Tough in this market. Wait to the next slide. Boston Real Estate Investors monthly newsletter from the original, official Boston Real Estate Investors Association. In our newsletter, you get access to deals. The deals within the community, we're saying, hey, here's another deal, here's another deal, here's another deal. Hands can if you'd like just deals in the mailbox. Yeah, just it comes right in, just deals. You heard what they say about real estate. You make your money on the purchase, which means we've got to purchase real estate in order to make money. I mean, unless we're doing Airbnb arbitrage, but don't get distracted, ladies and gentlemen. That's a short-term play. You've got to get the rental properties. You've got to get that equity, the juice. So you need deals. This is a great way to get deals. The link is www.bostonrealestateinvestorsassociation.com. In fact, I would just go there right now since we're all at our computers. Go to bostonrealestateinvestorsassociation.com and just register. It's your name, which you should know already. In fact, if you do forget, it's right there on the screen on the bottom left side. Just type in your name, then type in your email address. This is Boston Real Estate Investors Association.com. Sign up for the newsletter to get access to deals. And then also go to the website. You can get access to the hard money lenders, the private money lenders, the mortgage brokers. We are social. Find us on Facebook. I also conspire with Duncan to create some of the best content possible. So me and Duncan are both sharing out on the Facebook page. If you have a great deal, if you have questions to ask, we are always engaged on Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn. So you'll see me and Duncan occasionally share some really good tips or some really good market pieces of advice. Make sure that you're capitalizing on this opportunity or ask questions. Hands to camera, if you commit, you're going to take all the resources and go take action with them. Awesome. So feel free to take a picture of the screen and tag us on social media, Boston Real Estate Investors Association, or BREIA. Who mentioned mentors? Did anybody mention mentors tonight? That they had a mentor, want a mentor, got a mentor? Awesome. So if you don't have a mentor, or if you're missing a mentor, by the way, everybody should have two. One local mentor to give you local information, local knowledge, and an out-of-state mentor to help you with deal flow, raising capital, finding off-market properties. Because the local mentor, by the way, definition of a mentor is somebody who's still doing it. Coaches are people who have done it. They've got a ton of experience, and they're not always actively in the business doing it right now. Mentors are busy people. So a coach cares about your results. They care about you. They care about taking you to the next level. They're going to ask you what your goal is. A mentor is going to answer questions. What is your problem? What are you looking for? Where are you going next? Like, hey, how do I get the capital for this? That's a mentor question. Very good. A coach is job that the mentor gives you a strategy. The coach implements that strategy with you. And it's if you understand, right? There's a difference. Coaches are busy people doing deals. Reverse. Mentors are busy people doing deals. Coaches may still do deals, but they're focused on your goals. Whatever you tell them that you want, they are going to do whatever it takes to get you there. And a mentor is the resource to ask questions, to jump in and do things. So it's a very good resource to have. Now, when I started and I got lucky. I had mentors from day one. Day one, I had mentors. That's why my success was so fast. But if I was missing mentors, the first thing I would do, in fact, anytime I jump into a new business or a new market, and now I'm in Tampa, Florida, I grew up in Massachusetts, I get mentors. First thing I do, my unfair advantage. So if you're interested in a checkup from the neck up, as I call, I'm going to drop my Calendly link and you and I can jump on a call. It won't be today. It won't be tomorrow. And it won't be Saturday or Sunday, because Sunday I do whatever I want and I don't help anybody on Sunday. That's my day. The rest of the week, I answer any questions that come through. Is that okay? Hands to camera if you know you need a day for yourself. Awesome. It's set some context, set some boundaries. Now, the rest of the week, I'm available. Now, I only do this call with people who've never had a call with me before. Never do like this particular call is a 15-minute checkup from the neck up. It's just, hey, what are your goals? What are you doing? Here's a strategy. Run with it. If I believe the mentorship is right for you, I will say it. If I don't like you for some reason, I will not offer the mentorship. Is that okay? Yes, we agree? All right. I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires. I don't got time for dabblers. I don't got time to waste time with anybody. I only want people who are serious. And you're going to have the same thing from Mark tonight. If he is getting that vibe that you're not an action taker, you're not doing things, he's not going to offer you anything. Is that cool? Hands to camera if you recognize that that's true. So stay engaged. I want you to play full out. In fact, where is my link? Doreen, did you drop a link for me? I'll drop it right there. This is a 15-minute call. You're going to see my calendar may be open. Do not schedule anything until Tuesday. These next 4 days, I'm committed to my students. I'm committed. We're live in Orlando for 3 days, and I'm teaching them how to raise private capital through influence. So one of my partners is going to be teaching NLP, which is a sales strategy, neuro-linguistic programming. We're going to be teaching a little bit of hypnosis to remove procrastination. We're going to be teaching a little bit about how to hold a solid frame when talking to a seller or when talking to a private money lender or talking to a family friend who wants to lend you money. So I'm committed to them for the next 4 days. It's me and my 30 students and my other 4 coaches in the room. In fact, Ryan McDermott's one of my coaches. Ryan, are you excited?
I can't wait, Walter. I'm here in the hotel room in Orlando, and just waiting for it to start tomorrow.
Let's give Ryan McDermott a round of applause. Millionaire, and paying it forward. And then Ryan McGovern, I love the two of you in the other room. Is it okay if I ask one of my students to share his success because he's such a rock star? Is it okay if I ask for him to share what his success was with the mentorship? Hands to camera if it's cool. Yes. Ryan McGovern, go ahead, man. Tell him what you did.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me on here. So I just want to start off. I heard a quote from one of my mentors. I don't care what you call me, as long as you call me when you have a deal. Just say it. That was you. And if you guys are paying attention, that was Walter at the beginning of this call. I'm sorry. That was funny. I might get that tattooed on myself so people know to call me. Look, I've known Walter for a few years now. I jumped into his mentorship program. I think it was close to 3 years ago now. Was it 3 years ago? Yeah. Got in the beginning of COVID, and I knew I wanted to get into real estate, but I didn't know really where to go. This was before, right in the beginning when I had my license, but everything was kind of shut down. Had no idea what I wanted to do, what direction I wanted to go. And for the new members here, you're probably feeling like that. There's a lot of directions that want to pull you certain ways, and it's overwhelming. But the key is getting a mentor. Now, a lot of people say it. You see a lot of people on YouTube. You see a lot of people on Facebook. But the key is, like Walter said, getting somebody within your market and then getting somebody out of state. And at the time, Walter was in my market. He still invests here. He's still here. He was local. The best connection that I've made within real estate, because if I didn't link up with Walter, I wouldn't have had the other connections because it spreads beyond Walter. He's built this connection. He's built this whole group, this whole mastermind, this alchemist group of coaches. I mean, we've got Ryan McDermott in here on the call. Doreen's here. And whether it's crypto, investing in Amazon, real estate, no matter what you do, because I do these things and I built these connections through this group, and there's so many coaches that you're going to have access to. And if I didn't stumble upon this group, and I only recognized Walter because I met him at an event, and he doesn't remember meeting me there way beforehand back in the wintertime. And I'm like, who is this bald guy looking at me, smiling and nodding his head? And come to find out, he was one of the bigger investors in Fall River. So once I put a name to the face and really got to know him, I couldn't thank him enough. And like I said, it's not just Walter. You have to put the work in yourself, but this will be the key to at least getting the ball rolling in the right direction. It's tough to go into this blind. You need guidance, you need help, you need coaches and mentors, and we're all here for you. And just beyond just the coaches, I mean, there's a whole group, there's 500-600 people involved in this group or more. Everybody's there with the deal, with the question. I mean, anything you come across, we've been there. So I can't thank you enough. I can't thank Dorina enough and all the other coaches that you're involved with. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today without you guys.
Give Ryan McDermott a round of applause. That's so you know what he's accomplished. Ryan joined the mentorship, and within 8 months, he said, I quit my job. That was his goal. It was 8 or not. What was it, a year, Ryan? How long did it take you?
So it took me a year and a half. I sold my 3 family, put the money in my pocket, and went full time. So it was a little premature, some would say, but it worked out really good.
I said it, but you did it anyway. So
yeah, that was, I listened to you on a lot of things, but I heard that, I'm like, just going
The,
for
the
it.
point is you blow me away because even like you take those tough decisions, you do your thing and you still like, we just do whatever it takes to solve it. And I'm absolutely impressed with you. I love seeing what you're doing. And Ryan is one of those people who does reach out and give information. Like he's in there. Go ahead, Ryan. I see you, brother. And I got to bring on our next speaker. We got a hell of a night tonight.
I'll be real quick. Ryan McGovern. Ryan, how old are you?
26.
You're 26 years old. I'm 43 years old. And when I was 26, I started a business and I didn't know that I needed mentors. Nobody told me that I needed mentors. And I built a successful financial business and an insurance brokerage that's successful now. But boy, if I would have had mentors like Ryan has now at the age of 26, I would have been a lot more successful, a lot faster. I learned that, which is why I joined the mentorship a couple of years ago. Actually, Ryan McGovern and I went through it at the same time.
We were in the first class.
First class, yeah. We were like, ground zero of this mentorship program, and everything that Ryan is talking about. Like you can't, there's so many. You need to have mentors. You need to be coachable when you go into this business, and that in this mentorship program, all of the things. Does everybody have like relatives and friends and coworkers that say that they want to own real estate? Everybody's talking about it. How many of them are actually doing it? It's usually a very small percentage, and the reason is like basic things that people get tripped up on, and that's what this mentorship. I mean, the mentorship does a lot more than that, but it helps you avoid those things that trips up the newer investor. And I can't recommend it enough. I'm going to leave it at that. I have to run downstairs because I'm here in Orlando at the event that Walter is talking about, and there's a bunch of investors. I think I counted up. There's probably about 200 or 250 units represented by the people that I'm going to be downstairs hanging out with, and would not have happened had I not been a Boston REIA member to join the Boston REIA, and also been part of this mentorship program. So thanks, everyone.
Let's give Ryan McDermott and Ryan McGovern a round of applause. It's true. I met Ryan McDermott in the room. I was speaking on stage and he was sitting there like this the whole time. I was like, I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying anything. And I told him I buy my real estate at 20% discount every time. And then I do a 20% value add. And then I hold it for 4 years. And I gain an extra 20% from appreciation. And then I get the decent human being discount. By holding it and raising the rents on my tenants, I get an extra 11% because I'm a decent human being and they're decent human beings. We want to stay together in that relationship. And so after 4 years, you can be into your property at 71% equity. And with Ryan being a financial planner, he said, I'm in.
Hook, line, and sinker every time.
And I just want to throw one more thing in there. And the coolest thing about this group is with our community, it has expanded beyond just you as an individual. Everybody has brought their spouses in and their children in, their parents in. Everybody in our group sees the power and the positivity in it, that it has spread beyond just you. So food for thought. I'm not getting paid for this. You can see our results and, follow us and it's real. And Walter's powerful and his whole entire group is very powerful. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. It means a lot to me. Let's give these guys one more round of applause. And if you have any questions, not even about the mentorship, just about real estate or Boston REIA, I dropped my link in the chat. Go to alchemistnation.com and you can just send me a direct message on there. It's our own platform. It's our own social media platform hosted on Mighty Networks. So just shoot me a message. It's a lot easier to communicate to me there. Is that cool that I offer that? Awesome. Excellent. Now, we've got a hell of an amazing speaker tonight. So I've got to get through the rest of these slides. I've also got to show you a little bit about saving money. So Mark, hang with us. I know we went a little bit longer than we normally do, but thank you so much for the testimonials. I know you guys sharing from your heart. I know everybody's traveling right now, so thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight.
If I can add, if I can actually add to that real quick, because reasonably, what everybody is saying about needing a mentor, needing a coach, that is 100%. I mean that, and just to be clear, I have a coach. right? I'm not the one that says, oh, you got to have a coach. And I, right. I mean, I have a coach and I have sales coaches and I have business coaches and I have vision coaches. You need a coach because you can't be great everywhere. You can't be strong everywhere. You got to have someone checking your six. You got to have someone holding you accountable because, those, and I'll get into my presentation here in a little bit, but 100% of what you said, that's going to keep you driving. And a lot of times people think, well, how can I afford that? And it's like, well, if I told you if you can get $50,000 to make $500,000, you'd find a way. Right. So put that to bed. And every single person that I know now, just to be clear, and I think Walter, you'll say this too, not everybody is the right fit for every coach and every mentor. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So I just wanted to add to that because, man, you are hitting so many bells for me. And I'm like, yes, someone finally gets it. I love it, man. I love it. So keep on it. Keep on that mission.
Hell yeah. Let's give Mark a round of applause. He's coming up tonight. You're going to get him in a little bit. You're going to hear his story. Absolutely amazing. And the success he's created for so many people this is a night to stay engaged. Look, tomorrow, go to work tired. I don't care what you do tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Tonight is all that matters. Stay engaged. Clear the room. If you got kids, just be like, hey, little ones, tonight we're watching this. We're in this together. This is for you. This is for the family. Hands to the camera if you can commit for the next hour or so, maybe 45 minutes. We're going hard up here with making some commitments to ourselves and our success. Awesome. And Mark, I am going to have to jump out in a little bit. So I'm going to miss the rest of your training. So would you do me the hugest favor and be a guest on my podcast sometime in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah. We'll make that work, man. I'd love it.
I dropped the link for Alchemist Nation, or I dropped the link for my 15-minute call. Me and you, man, we just jump on a call.
Sounds good, man. I'd love it.
Awesome. Let's give him a real round of applause now. Thank you. Excellent. So at the Boston REIA, we have the opportunity to help you start making money right now. Who'd like to make money right now? Make some money today, right now. Drop in the chat what you're looking for. Is it deals? Is it property? Where do you invest? Drop that in the chat right now. Let us help you get your first deal going while this is all happening. Hands to camera, that's cool. Your hands shouldn't even be able to go up. You should be just typing. Drop, boom. This city, this market, I want 12% interest, whatever your goal is. Drop it in the chat right now. This is your opportunity. This is how deals are made in communities like this. Now, the All-Star membership, the free entrance to the monthly events is one of the things that you get included. We're going live soon. We don't know when. Look, Boston, it is what it is. Down here in Orlando, in Tampa, we've been live. In Massachusetts, we got to be careful. We got to respect the governors. We got to respect our laws. So it is still virtual. We're going to stay virtual for a little while longer until they say it's okay for us to go back to normal. The free entrance to subgroup meetings. Every week, I run a call called the 52 Real Estate Wealth Principles. Every single week on Saturday, all Boston REIA members, I'm talking about the membership in a little bit, what it costs and how you can get into it. All Boston REIA members get access to that for free. Hands to the camera if you think that's cool. It's a great opportunity. Yes, paying it forward every week. We also do a wholesaling boot camp on Monday nights at 5 p.m. for all Boston Real Estate Investor Association members. You have to be a member to jump into the Boston REIA's wholesaling boot camp. On the boot camp, we're getting deals. We're on the phones live, calling. We'll show you how to call. You'll watch us make mistakes. You'll watch us do well. And you can jump in and call with us. We use power dialers, so we get our responses. Also, if you're just an investor who doesn't want to do dialing, we're wholesalers. We'll sell you the deal. Hands camera, if that's true too for the wholesalers. It's like, yeah, let's lock them down. Excellent. Discount workshops. I do a lot of workshops. I do many workshops. The one I'm doing this weekend, not discount. You can't get that one. But all the other ones we do virtually, we discount because of the Boston REIA. Be a sport. Learn a sport, be a player, join today. Real estate is a contact sport. The REIA is designed to be super affordable. We're not charging $20,000 to be a member a year. We're not charging $15,000 to be a member a year. We're not charging $10,000 to be a member a year. In fact, today, only, we're not even going to charge the full price because Duncan messed up on the PowerPoint. So we're actually going to give you a lower price because the PowerPoint's not going to be accurate when the price comes up. But just hold those numbers in your head. All apologies, Duncan. Sarah, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's give Sarah a round of applause. She is a real estate agent licensed investor agent in the Boston market, and she also hooks us up with the Home Depot deals. And Sarah, do you want me to run the PowerPoint, or I'll send it over to you?
No, I think I will. Yes, this will stop. Yep. I'll take it from here. That will stop sharing your screen though. So awesome. Can you see my screen right now?
Anybody see your screen? No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I think it is loading. Just give me a second.
And I'm loving what I'm seeing in the chats. This is awesome. 100 units in Mass, Rhode Island, Connecticut, or New Hampshire. I have a large off-market deal going under contract, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, Rhode Island is still a great market to buy into. Really, really great market, especially if you're sitting on cash. Like Rhode Island's just cash flow. Boston has so many opportunities as well. Man, like if you're not closing on deals, your eyes must be closed. We just locked down, like I said, an $8 million deal. I don't know if I said it in this meeting or the webinar right before this, but we locked down an $8 million deal in Massachusetts that we were paying $500,000 for. We're putting $3 million into it in renovations, and the other $4 million is our profit. That's our equity. We did it this year. We did it in the same market you're looking in. Just making sense? Like the deals are there, right? And it's harder for us to find the bigger deals than it is to find the little deals. Little deals are a dime a dozen. You know, if I was looking to do a bunch of little deals, I like no time, no free time. So trust me, you got the deals. Look at the chat. This is nuts. This is awesome. Let's give everybody who's contributing in the chat a round of applause. Save the chat. There's a little 3-button dot. Save that chat. Reach out to people. The money is there. If you haven't registered into alchemistnation.com, you can communicate with each other there. Share your deals right on the platform all throughout the week. Boston REIA members, you get access to this for free. So sign up for the Boston REIA tonight. Sarah, we see your screen. Go ahead.
Awesome. Okay. Hi, everyone. So just like Walter was saying, he gives special rates to Boston REIA members. Home Depot does the same exact thing to our members. And we're going to go through this right now. In addition, of course, to what they would normally do with the regular, because if you go directly to Home Depot Pro Extra and sign up with them, they will give you discounts. But you get actually more for being a Boston REIA member. So they do have a rewards program that's going on, and it is basically, think of it as like CVS or Shaw's. So the more you buy, the more you get discounts or rebates. Home Depot does the same thing. So, but they have they have their own system. So how it works is that they do they have fixed periods twice a year. So January 1st until June 30th and July 1st until the end of the year, December 31st. You get 2% biannual rebate on all of your purchases. The only catch is that you need to spend $5,000 per period, which is under $1,000 a month. And how it works is that they mail you out a Home Depot gift card within 60 days from the closing day of each period. So just always make sure that your mailing address is updated with Home Depot. Also, because you are a Boston REIA member, you qualify for a 20% off paint. So, and this is in their classification, that's a gold tier. Normally, people will have to spend $6,500 to get to that tier. You don't have to do that to get this discount, and you don't have to spend the $5,000, the minimum rebate to get to that tier as well. Because you're a Boston REIA member, you get that 20% right away. But this 20% is applicable to paint, stains, and primer of a gallon or more. It's not applicable to like quartz or spray paints. So basically how it works is that at the checkout, at the pin pad before you swipe your card, enter your phone number that you used when you registered with Boston REIA. So their system will recognize that you are a Boston REIA member and will give you the discount at the checkout. And basically, remember when we said that this is a rewards program. So for their system to also recognize that you are a Pro Extra member, they have you like enter the information of your credit card or a checking or savings account, however you want to pay. And every time you pay with this particular method of payment, that's how you collect the 2%. So if you at the checkout enter your phone number that's registered with the Boston REIA and pay with the Visa, whatever payment method that you used, that's how you accumulate the 2%. So you get the 20% at the checkout, and then you get the 2% at the end of the 6 months period. And the good thing about this is that they have a system called like back-to-back or like B2B, which is allow you to track purchases for up to 24 months. So it's absolutely great. They also offer our members up to 20% of select Hampton Bay kitchen and bath cabinets if you purchase 10 or more cabinets in a single transaction. And how it works is that you get 10% from National REIA and 10% from Home Depot, and both are stackable with any other store discount. So imagine like with these two coupons, you get 20%, and imagine what else you can get on top of that, and then 2%, etc. They also have something wonderful that's called a volume pricing program, or VPP, or bidroom. So how it works is that if you have a list of items that is will cost $1,500 or more, bring your list to the pro desk, have them prepare a quote, and have them send it to the bidroom. And normally it takes just a few minutes, and then it's going to come back with all the applicable discounts from 0 to 15%. And eventually you get that at the checkout. And then if you pay with a registered card, you get the 2%, at the end of the rebate period. The only thing that, it wouldn't benefit you really to use through that VPP is the paint, because you get 20% right away. So, and the maximum of the bedroom discounts is 15%. So you're better off using the paint separate from the rest of the items. To prove that, that people are really making a lot of money from this, just like Walter was saying also a little earlier. In the past 6 months, Home Depot paid out to chapter members more than $500,000. And that's like about an average of like $1,600 per member. So this alone will pay, and this is in 6 months, right? So in one period, you can probably get 5 years worth of membership in Boston REIA. So how many 6 months in this 5 years? You have 10 of them. So in 6 months, you can just get that. Just like what they were saying earlier, sign up today. Call or text Kelly. That's her number. She answered her text. If you want to be a member, if you're not sure if your membership expired, if you want to renew it, Kelly is the one to handle all that. Thank you so much, and I will give I'll stop sharing the screen. I hope everyone took a picture of it, but if not, Kelly can always enter her phone number, so this way you won't miss it. Thank you, everyone.
Let's give Sarah a round of applause. Save that money, my friends. Save that money. You seen that song? Heard that song? It's all about saving that money. Awesome. And Kelly, can you drop your phone number if somebody does want to schedule a quick text or find out more about the Boston REIA, how to jump in? This is the place to do it. We are the community to work with. It's all about community. It's all about trust, working with the right people. Hence, Camp, you see all the savings on the screen. Who sees the savings? Yeah. Discounts on discounts on discounts. That's what we do at the Boston REIA. It's also a benefit across the entire country. The National REIA has done this negotiating for us. I love the REIAs. I'm part of the Tampa REIA. I'm part of the Rhode Island REIA, the Las Vegas REIA, the LA REIA, and the Boston REIA. Because of what they do in the communities, I make all my money in the community. I make all my money with relationships. All the deals that I've ever bought came from somebody else who had the deal. Hence, Cam, if you know that's true. Somebody else got the deal. In fact, Ryan McGovern is texting me about a 26-unit deal in Pawtucket, Rhode Island right now, and I might pick it up. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Awesome. Now, I know how could it be affordable for somebody like me if if all this great stuff was in there, hands to the camera, if you know, it's got to be super expensive to jump into the Boston REIA with all these benefits, with all these free trainings and access to people. It is for unserious people. For unserious people, for dabblers, it is very expensive. But I'm not one of those guys who marks up the price really high. In fact, I'll just tell you, the price is supposed to be $400, but because Duncan messed up on the PowerPoint tonight, it's only $380 for a membership. And that was for the membership.
That's for a couple. It's $280 for a single.
You're going to give it away for $280 for singles?
Okay, you can pay more if you want to. That's okay. It's a
Let's
tip.
give Duncan a round of applause. He messed up the PowerPoint. So for tonight, this month only, you can get into the Boston REIA for $280 for the entire year, giving you access to me on Saturdays, to my calls every Saturday, the 52 Real Estate Wealth Principles, give you access to the Wholesaling Bootcamp on Mondays, give you access to all the online resources that we give our members at the National REIA. This is your chance, your opportunity for a steal of a deal. And it also makes it a lot easier for you to invest in real estate if you have a community you can rely on, a team that you can ask questions to, mentors, guides, coaches, partners. Hence, if you recognize this is a no-brainer, this is the easiest investment ever. Like I said, I'm a member of 5 REIAs all at the same time because it's the smallest amount of investment capital I've ever spent with the greatest yield of return. We're getting this. By the way, my commitment to you is moral, ethical, and legal. I only sell something I believe in. I could only sell something I'm a buyer of. I've done more deals through the National REIA than any other meetup group I've ever been a part of. I'm blessed and thankful, and that's why I contribute so much to these REIAs. They built my wealth, and so I'm thankful, and I'm paying it forward to the next generation. Now, we already did the haves and needs. Tonight, I've been priming you. I've been warning you. He looks even better than I do without hair. We've got the speaker of the night is Dolfini, the time wealthy investor. Time is your most valuable asset. We're here to build wealth. And there's only one way to do it. You got to do it through investing. Let's give Mark a big round of applause. Thank you so much for taking the time. You shoveled your way in.
I did.
Boston tonight.
I did. Although you're like, I know I'm not going to win the who had more snow contest because I know you guys got buried. So let's give it up for Walter. I mean, your passion, honestly, let's give him a round of applause because I just love his passion. And I can tell you, being a speaker from stage and doing this on Zoom is like being a bird in a cage. It's just really tough. And I like to walk around and I'm sitting in a chair and everything else, but we're going to make it work. And this is not going to be death by PowerPoint because I would absolutely hate that. So I will call on some of you, even if you don't have your videos up. So don't feel like you're safe because I am going to call on you. So even if you didn't study, that's okay. William Pratt, Stan Elroy, I see you. Annette, Laura, Sarah, I see you all. So it's really good to have you all here. Well, let me see first and foremost if I need the power stick. If you can give me the screen sharing ability. Let's see here. And yes, I've got that. And let's make sure. There we go. Screen 3. Okay. And you guys see the landlord coach logo? Is that what you guys are seeing? Yep. Okay, I'm getting a thumbs up. All right, good. All right, so, well, very good. Well, thank you so much, guys, for the warm welcome. First and foremost, who would love to have complete and total control of your calendar? Who would love that? Anybody out there? Okay, Walter. Kelly doesn't, apparently. Oh, yeah, see, Kelly? See what I do? I'm going to do this. So that's right, Sarah. Everyone's like, oh, man. And apparently Jim Smith doesn't either, and Catherine. So if you guys don't want control of your calendar, that's okay, but there are lots of people who do. And tonight what we're going to be talking about, and I know, don't let the moniker fool you, because the irony is, even though I go under the moniker landlord coach, the last thing in the world I actually want to make you folks into is landlords. What I want to make you into is investors. And even beyond that, I really don't even want you to be investors. Who would like to be a great mom? Who would like to be an engaged spouse, right? Who would be plugged into, their significant other? Who would love to be able to be more present with their children? Okay, and I know this is going to maybe hit a little bit deep, But who would love to spend more time with your aging parents? That's one that sucks. I'm telling you that this is time wealth, and this is what fires me up about coaching, because I absolutely love this. And I'm going to go off script here a little bit, because first and foremost, you guys have to support your REIA groups. They are not only working their tails off, not only for the discounts and stuff like that, which, to be honest with you, is a nice perk. But the stuff they don't tell you is all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes legislatively. And that's when they're out beating the drums, saying, no, this is not fair. They're fighting for you, and they're fighting from you coast to coast. And that's stuff that you literally can't put a price on, and we need to be unified. So I love their mission. I love everything they're about. I love their ethics. And once I knew that you guys are part of the National Association, we were actually on the national cruise right as the pandemic was like, right? Everybody was like wrapping their giant yachts in cellophane and just like burning them off the coast. But we were on that. I was one of the speakers on that cruise, and I just love everything they're about. So really, to be fair to Walter, he didn't even hit he hit some good parts, but honestly, the real deep parts are stuff that you just don't even see. So it's a kind of a no-brainer for me in terms of the REIA groups. But one other thing too, if you guys are looking for complete and total control of your calendar, the way to do that, obviously, yes, I want to make you into investors and everything else like that, but it really starts with just being a little bit intentional. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. In terms of the VIP method, we're going to talk about 4 core functions of the business. I know some of you saw the video that I put out, and then we're going to talk about some mental stuff that I know Walter had talked about a little bit earlier about NLP and self-hypnosis and things like that. I do a little bit on that in my coaching, but we're not going to get super deep on that tonight. Just won't have the time. So first and foremost, where are my readers in the room? Do I have a lot of readers in the room? Anybody? Hannah, are you a reader? Are you a reader? Yeah. Okay. I'm getting it. All right. Rami, you are a reader. Okay, good. Because I have some stuff I'm going to physically mail to you if the audience participation is there. Okay. So I've got to see, because I don't want this to be death by PowerPoint. I really don't. All right. So I've got one copy of the Time Wealthy Investor that I will mail to you. And if you want the book to be totally worthless, I'll even sign it. So I will even do that. So I will mail that to you. And I have 5 copies of The Judge. Okay, so I have 5 copies of The Judge and 1 copy of the Time Wealthy Investor that I will send to you. But you gotta stay plugged in. Is that fair? Does that sound good? Can I get a thumbs up? Everybody, okay, very good. All right, Laura. All right, Jason, are you there? Can I get a thumbs up from Jason? Rami, thank you. All right, very good. All right, and if you can't put your if you can't put your camera on, because I know some of you may be driving or something, you can put like a heck yes in the chat, because I'll be monitoring that as well. So looking forward to that, and so that you guys don't feel like you can't contribute if you're not able to put your videos on. All right. So first and foremost, let me tell you a little bit about what I'm about. So back first and foremost, I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. It was fantastic to me. I loved my time in the Marines. Wanted to get out and do a little bit more, some things more entrepreneurial. So I grew up in upstate New York, not very far from where you folks are at. And I actually landed in Indiana when I came back from the Marine Corps, and went to Purdue, got a degree in accounting and finance, and spent a lot of money on my education, and spent a lot more money on making a crap load of mistakes in real estate. And that's because I just didn't know what I was doing. I was just out there thinking I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and I was just making a bunch of mistakes. So, during the time when I was in college, now I was working, I was, going to school full time, and I still managed to do some wheeling and dealing, and I had about a dozen rental units altogether by the time I graduated, which is about $500,000 in real estate at the time. Okay. From there, went and worked in the corporate world for a while, and I fit in there like a square peg in a round hole. And finally, I was like, this is just not what I want to do. Pushing paper from one side of the desk to the other just was not fulfilling to me. Does anybody right now have a job like that that's just not fulfilling? Anything like that? Yep. Okay, Rami. All right. Zachary, kinda. All right. the thing is, yes, there's always, things that come up with, in jobs that you don't like. But the reality is right now is I oversee about just shy of 250 units altogether, and I work only a couple hours a week. And I absolutely love what I do. Now, really, I mean, the work I'm doing is signing checks and looking at numbers and metrics. But what I get to do is this. I get to do presentations. I get to teach others, and I get to bring people to better states of themselves. I could not do that if my real estate did not provide me that financial freedom and that time freedom. Okay. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is, when I would love to say it when it was on a straight trajectory up, but unfortunately, when 9/11 happened, I know some of you might be too young to remember 9/11, but for me, it really shook me to the core because it was like I didn't grow up super close to downtown Manhattan. I was in the Catskills, but I knew a lot of people that worked in Manhattan. When the commute is like contact sport there, it's like 3 hours of planes, trains, and automobiles. But seeing that when that happened, it really changed things for me. And within not much time, I ended up leaving the corporate world and decided that I wanted to go out on my own. So from that point forward, I started building my rental property business, and I got up to 92 rental units, which is about $6 million worth of real estate. Now, by everybody's measures of success, I was crushing it. I had $65,000 a month in rent revenues coming in. I had the big house, the enviable cars, and the lifestyles, and all the things. From the outside looking in, it looked amazing, but I was a complete and total barn fire. So what ended up happening was, I had created this miserable job. In fact, I had created thousands of these little miserable jobs for myself that I couldn't get out of. I was working 16, 18, sometimes 20 hours a day, and it was absolutely miserable. Well, then it got worse in 2008. Does anybody know what happened in 2008? What happened in 2008? Okay. All right, Zachary, go tell me what happened in 2008.
Big crash.
There was a big crash, right? Big crash in the real estate market. The mortgages imploded. Okay, so Zachary, because you what do you get? You can get your choice. There's the one copy of the Time Wealthy Investor, or you can get a copy of the Judge.
Time Wealthy Investor, please.
Okay, we'll have to work out how to get that to you. I'm admitting somebody here. Hang on one second.
I can drop my phone number or email in the chat.
Yes, if somebody can just keep track of that for me. So Zachary, I will be sure to get you because I want to keep rolling. But you will get so that was the only copy I had of the Time Wealthy Investor. I've got 5 copies of the Judge. All right. So, but yeah, there was a massive crash. Well, that's exactly what took me out. Is I didn't have near enough liquidity. I didn't have near enough cash. I was the one beating the drum saying OPM, but meanwhile, I wasn't setting aside enough cash in case things went sideways, and things went sideways hard. Right? So that $65,000 a month turned into $35,000 a month. And that was month over month over month. And because I had created all these little jobs for myself, I couldn't even afford to get anybody to help me. Right? Because I didn't build a system. All right. So it's interesting. So we're now coming on the other side of that, I have about, just a little bit more, two and a half times those units in terms of number. And I work maybe 1/10 of the hours, where I was working 20-hour days. Now I'm working 1 or 2 hours a week. So who would like something like that, where they could have? Okay, yeah. So we're going to be talking about how to do that here tonight. Now, do I have any chess players in the room? Is there any chess players? All right, couple chess players. All right, Laura Guzman. All right, Rami. All right. So it was interesting. My son, who at the time was, I think he was about 7 or 8 years old. He wanted to learn how to play chess. Now, mind you, at that point in time, I had been playing chess most of my life, like literally most of my life. And it was either chess or Stratego, and I just kept killing him in Stratego. And he's like, "You've been playing this for 30 years." I'm like, "Actually, I've been playing it for 40 years, but okay, that's fine." So anyway, so he kept losing the games, and the games were pretty short. After about the 10th game, I said, "Do you want to play again?" He said, "Well, what's the point? Every time you play, or every time we play, you win." And I said, "Son, that's because I only taught you the rules of the game. And I barely taught you how to play, and I surely didn't teach you how to win." So that's the difference that I see in a lot of investors is they barely know the rules of the game. They're trying to rush in and scrape together a deal. They don't really know what they're doing. And when they do get in a deal, they don't even know how to win. So that's really what we're going to be talking about a little bit tonight in terms of how to win. So we're going to go through this really quickly because I don't want to keep you guys too late. I know you guys have commitments, and I want it to be done no later than 8:45, 8:50, 9 o'clock, somewhere around there. But let's get through this. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is the VIP method. Now, the VIP method is what I wrote about in the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0. If you guys are interested in getting a copy, just hang tight. Please don't go to I just don't want you to multitask. Don't go to Amazon and buy a copy and make Jeff Bezos more money. I'll tell you how you can get a copy for free tonight. But just hang tight, okay? So don't multitask. I can get you another copy. Just hang tight. So we're going to be talking about the VIP method that I wrote about in the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0. We're also going to be talking about the four core functions that I talked about in any business, and I don't care what business, even if you're not ready to get buy and hold investing a try right now, even if you're not ready for rental properties right now, that's okay. You got to know all four core functions of any business. We're going to be talking about that. And then finally, we're going to be talking about the minefield, which is the self-sabotaging behaviors that I'm pretty sure that you might be able to pay attention or might be able to relate to if you've been in business for any length of time. So again, what I hope to accomplish for you is getting clarity around your life. That's what I want right now. Organize your thoughts around your business, and then we're going to talk about stopping self-sabotaging behaviors. So let me ask you, go ahead, unmute yourself really quick. What do you think it means to be time wealthy? What does it mean?
I think time wealthy means that you're able to control your time, and I think that's much more important than dollars and cents.
Absolutely, Annette. Okay, very good. Thank you and so you're going to get a copy of the Judge sent to you, and but thank you for contributing here, because that's 100% right. It's absolutely having complete and total control of your calendar. The thing is, whenever I ask people, and generally it's like, what do you want that time to do? Why is it important? Why is having complete and total control over your calendar important? Let's hear from someone else. Why is having complete and total control of your calendar important?
I have options to contribute to things that how I feel like can make the world a better place, or even with family, but just options, what I think of.
Yeah, and a lot of people do too, because a lot of people, and thank you, Catherine, I appreciate that. I'm going to send you the next copy of the Judge. So Annette and Catherine, you both get copies. So absolutely right. And sometimes when I say, well, what is it that you want to do? And some people they don't know. They just want the freedom to do whatever it is, okay? But the reason why I bring this up is, a lot of times I travel around to different REIA groups across the United States, or virtually travel like I am tonight. And a lot of times when I'm in the room, and especially when I'm in a physical room, people are like, oh, yeah, landlord coach. Yeah, I've always, I really want to get into rental properties. And I'm not picking on anybody, but there was a couple people that said, yeah, I want to get 50 rental units, or I want to get 100 rental units. And for whatever reason, it's always multiples of 25, by the way. It is. I don't know why. But it's like, okay, so you want to get 100 rental units. Yep, that's what I said, so you want to get into real estate and you want 100 rental units. I said yes. Or they said yes. 99 wouldn't do it for you? Well, 99 would probably be okay. Right, Sarah? 99, would that be all right? Yeah, okay. How about 93? 93, I think, is a prime number. It's as good a number as any, right? And we'll keep doing that, keep going down, until what they finally recognize is that they're confusing the number of rental units with the life output they think that that's going to buy them. I'm going to say that one more time, because that might be a writer downer for some of you. What they're doing is they're confusing the number of rental units with the life output they think that that's going to buy them. So it really isn't about the 100 rental units. That tells me they haven't thought through their personal vision at all. Because who wants to have a vision? Who wants to have a business that they have to exist for? Good. I'm glad not one hand went up. Who would rather have a business that serves them? Every hand should be up. Absolutely, yes. You want to have a business that serves you. Now, I'm not saying you can't get some significance from that. It's kind of cool to walk in and say, yeah, I've got, a couple hundred rental units. Yeah. Honestly, I don't get my significance from that anymore. And quite frankly, I have all of them that I want. I'm not out actively searching for deals right now because I have really all the rental units that I want or that I need to deliver my vision for me, right? The reason being is because I've defined what my vision is. Now we're gonna get into this here in a second, but I'll say this: when as cool as it is to have a boat, right? As cool as it is to have a boat, it's not cool to have a boat that sits on a trailer in your driveway. That's not cool, right? So, and you look at this monster. Look at the picture there. I don't know how long that driveway is, but that driveway is like what 40-ish feet long. If you look at the maybe the car. So, I mean, that's a big boat, right? So that poor guy or gal is probably, at the office working, trying to pay for this thing. So this is what I'm talking about, is having complete and total control of your calendar. And if you want the cool stuff, absolutely, that's fine. But make sure you have the time to use the cool stuff. It doesn't make sense to have a cabin that you never go to. It doesn't make sense to have a boat that you are going to pay someone else to go take care of because you never get to use it. Right? So this is why I'm saying you can have it all. You just have to define what that is. All right? So let's get into that. Now that I've just brought that up, this is what the premise of the VIP method. So vision is specifically about what it is you want to accomplish, right? So this is the VIP method. So vision is specifically what it is that you want to accomplish. Do I have any runners in the room? Do I have any runners in the room? Okay, so everybody in here is sane. Oh, okay, Zachary, you're a runner. Okay. I used to think I didn't like running, and then I was convinced of it once I joined the Marine Corps. I was like, wow, you guys make everything miserable, right? So for those of you who are maybe you're cyclists, or maybe, whatever it is, if you're a runner in the room, so I haven't checked the chat. Is there, so yeah, if you're a runner, would you agree to run a marathon where there's no established finish line? That's terrible. Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, Zachary, thank you. Yeah, everyone's going, that's like the worst kind of marathon, right? Like, who would agree to do that? Like, where it keeps moving. Well, that's exactly what a lot of entrepreneurs sign up for when they get into a business, right? They never have an established finish line. So what do? Now they've got this monster with an insatiable appetite for their labor. You've put this monster together, this Frankenstein together that has an insatiable appetite for your labor, and it will never, ever be satisfied. The more work there is, the more work you do. And the more work you do, the bigger the appetite it gets. It's endless. And back in 2007, 2008, when I had 92 rental units, and I was doing everything from the leasing to showing, everything. And I didn't have any clear vision for what I was trying to accomplish in the first place. So as a result, my life was a complete and total disaster because I never defined what it was I wanted. I thought I wanted the cool house. I thought I wanted the cool car. But really what I wanted was the freedom to go do stuff. And because of the lifestyle, not only the lifestyle was undefined, number one, and number two, because I'd never put systems in place, it never panned out that way. Okay. So the next piece of this is, so that's the vision piece. Okay. That's the vision piece. The next piece is infrastructure. Okay. So infrastructure is simply the bones of the business, right? Now, let me be clear here. Infrastructure, you have to be the reason it comes next, okay, is because you're going to put a vision in place that is going to, let me back up a second. You're going to create a vision that is around your personal life, what you want your life to be. Then we're going to reverse engineer a business that's going to deliver that vision for you, right? It's not that complicated, but we make it complicated because like me, what happened with me is I was stuck on stupid and just kept buying because stuff was for sale. Whether the numbers on it worked or not, I was just buying because I didn't have anything else to do. If I had gotten to 30 units and deleveraged, could I have made a pretty decent life here in Lafayette, Indiana, bringing in $32,000 a month free cash flow? Might not have ever known my name, right? I don't begrudge the journey I went on, but that's kind of where it was. That's exactly what happened. So, or what could have happened. But instead, I kept growing for the sake of growing, and I never really got clear about my vision. So the infrastructure is the bones of the business. So let's say, for argument's sake, that, let me, let's say my vision is to lay on the beach for 2 months out of the year rubbing cocoa butter on my belly, right? So not a great visual, perhaps, but that's my vision, okay? My infrastructure is all of the bones of the business. It's the desks, the chairs, the software, the computers, the whatever, think of like an empty Starbucks, or think of like an empty McDonald's with just the infrastructure in there, okay? It's the phone system, and hopefully it's a phone system that doesn't look like this, okay? Look at the screen, okay? Look at my screen. It should be a phone system that doesn't look like this. If it does, you no longer get to complain when your residents call you. That's your fault, not their fault, because you created that infrastructure. Okay, so let's back up a step. If you created an infrastructure where you're going to have to return emails and phone calls in a timely manner, and meanwhile, you're trying to lay on the beach rubbing cocoa butter in your belly for 2 months out of the year in Spain, what's your vision? What's your experience going to be like while you're doing that? It's going to be terrible. Oh, here I am. Look how cool I am working from the beach, dude. I'm sorry, that sucks. I've done that and it's awful. Like, no, I want to be like asleep on the beach, like chasing seagulls, like I don't want to be answering a phone. If anything, I want to not even have to worry about it. Okay, so that's why vision has to come first, because when you're going to create an infrastructure, you're going to be creating an infrastructure that's in alignment with that vision. Does that make sense? Go ahead and raise your hand if that makes sense. If you're in the chat, you can go ahead and put yes, understand, totally get it, something to that effect. Okay, all right, thank you, Kelly. Thank you. All right, very good. Thank you, Catherine. All right, good. All right, so that's really what that is. So when you're creating an infrastructure, now there's one other piece to infrastructure, and that's the asset class selection. I don't care what it is. I'm a residential guy. I've always have been. I've done some commercial deals, and I'm just more residential. That's just my thing. People come to me all the time with other stuff. Now, pay attention. Other people come to me with other deals, and I turn them down. Why do you think that is? Who's been paying attention? Go ahead and unmute yourself and say, why do you think that is?
Commercial deals.
Yeah, why do you think I would turn those deals down, Sarah?
It's not your thing.
Because it's not you want to specialize in the residential.
Exactly, but use my language here. What would I say?
It might cut
not on your vision.
It's not on my vision. Laura, did you say that?
I said it's not. I said it was that it will cut into your time and not what you want. You want your business to take care of you, not the other way around. And commercial might take up more of your time.
100%. That's a great answer. And Laura, so I'm going to give you a copy of the book. Who said it was not in your vision?
Tansy.
Who said it? Nancy? Oh, Tansy. Tansy. Okay. Yes. Tansy, I feel like we know each other. Do we or no?
Yes, we do.
Okay. You've got my books.
I do. I don't have the judge though.
All right. The judge, and I've got your address, so the judge is on its way to you. It's good to see you.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I don't know anybody else with that name. It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see you.
Like the tea.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Well, so the asset, that's exactly right. It is not in my vision. So that's why I am brutal about that, because if you're going to say, well, it's not going to take up that much more bandwidth, you're lying to yourself, or you're just ignorant of it. And it's not your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault, but you just don't know. Well, how much more time could it possibly take, right? How many, if you've got rental properties now, or you've got Airbnb now, it's like, well, I'll just go over and clean it and save some money. What? No, you're never going to be wealthy paying yourself $12 to $15 or $20 an hour. Never. Ever. There's not enough time in the day. It's mathematically won't work. Okay. So it can be that possible if you're leveraging someone else. So if you're making $20 an hour by paying someone else to do something, then fine. I'm okay with that. But you doing the labor to make $20 an hour? No, I'm sorry. It just doesn't work out. The math doesn't work. Okay. So that's where the infrastructure piece comes in. So that's the desk chairs, software, it's all that stuff, phone system, but it's also the asset class selection. Okay. Finally, we're going to get to process. Now we're going to talk a little bit about process. I'm going to give you some specific examples, but do I have any military folks in here? Do I have any military folks? Go ahead and, no military folks. Okay. So military folks would understand what an SOP is, standard operating procedure. Okay. Standard operating procedure. That's basically just how you do stuff. Okay. It's your SOP, your FAQ. So basically what you're going to be doing now, a lot of coaches, and I'm not being critical here, but a lot of coaches who also teach buy and hold investing, some of their stuff is really, really, really good. Like I hear it and I'm like, wow, that was really good, right? And I'm like, I'm an author and I coach this stuff and I hear these, but some of their ideas are really good. But here's the problem: they lead with tactics. They're leading with those things and saying, oh. I'll give you a quick example. I hear this from like wholesalers, which no offense to wholesalers, man, they work hard, like really hard. And they're like, oh, you want to make $10,000 in a weekend? That's easy. Go knock on 10,000 doors. I'm like, no, I will stop at 3 and go get a Red Bull and then call it a day. Like there's no way I would, that's a lot of work, but some people are willing to do that. That is not in alignment with who I am. It's not in alignment with my skill set. It's not in alignment with what I'm good at, right? It's not in alignment with even what I want to do. Now, could I shoehorn that tactic and go, well, just do it and make the money? And then, but why would I want to do that if I'm miserable? There's going to be some tactics that they teach, that other people teach, and then you will hear about on YouTube and reading other books and stuff like that, that you go, wow, I really like that idea, right? If it works for you, I'm not going to tell you to stop doing it. All I'm telling you is that it's got to be procedural. You've got to have that stuff in place, but it's got to be in alignment with a vision for your life. It's got to run on an infrastructure that you create, and that process all stays in alignment with your vision for the future. Okay, does that make sense? So it's vision, infrastructure, process. It's top down, strategic. It's like goal, strategy, tactics. Does that make sense? I'm getting some thumbs up. All right, very good. All right, cool. All right. So that is the process. So do I have anybody in here right now who's got some, I saw some people in here had some rental units already. Is there a couple folks in here who have some rental units already? All right, Catherine, John, do you? Yeah, okay, very good. So there's a couple, this is going to resonate with you guys, but I want to go through this quickly because I know that there's a few people who are not, but I want to make this point in terms of this is what a process chart should look like. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the landlord cycle. Now, the landlord cycle, you'll see on the top left there is day 0, and it goes to day 1, day 7, and then it kind of rounds the horn there, goes to day 30, day 245, and then day 365. We're going to do this really super quick because I don't want to run lean on time. But day 0 is when someone is handing you keys. That is when you are making $0. Okay? Your job is to get from day 0 to day 1 as fast as you possibly can. Okay? So you want to go from day 0 to day 1. Now, the way I do that is with a vacancy checklist. This is where all my checklists come in. Because you're not going to remember all the 42,000 things that you have to do and make sure are done. And if you miss one of those things, then it's a Google review. They are the worst people ever, right? Like yeah, I get it. I mean, there's no winning on the Google. Yeah, I'm seeing some people nodding their heads. Yeah, that's like the most terrifying thing is like somebody who's good at a Google review. You're like, oh Lord. But that's why I have checklists. Now, do I always get it right? Do my folks always get it right? No. But we don't miss the big stuff. We miss little stuff, which is not going to be super egregious for most people, right? But day 0 to day 1, that's to get you from $0 back to dollars as quickly as possible. So day 1, guess what day 1 is? Who wants to think what day 1 is? Go ahead, Rami. I see you chat. Go ahead.
I think it when you're purchasing the property, when you're signing the documents, right?
All right, you've already got the property. So day 0, someone's handing you keys. Okay. So you're going through your vacancy checklist, which means you've turned the property, you've done all the move out stuff, you've done all of the turn, right? You've found a resident, they're qualified, and day 1 is what?
When they move in.
Very good. Exactly. You're handing keys to someone,
okay,
and they're handing you money. Okay, so Rami, you're going to get the last copy of the judge. So I'm going to be sending all that out as well. So hopefully someone's keeping track of who I owe what, because I'm just keeping this thing rolling. If I get this messed up, you can drop me an email at mark@landlordcoach.com, and I will get the books out to you. Probably not tomorrow because we are under like 4 feet of snow. So anyway, but that's exactly right. Someone's handing you money, and you are handing them keys, right? That's the first day. Now, so in day one of the process, what am I doing? I'm doing a move-in video with them, right? With them. Like they're moving in and we're doing, again, hold it this way, not this way, not, like you want it like a real video, and you want to learn how to pan slowly, make sure you're getting everything. And if you missed something, own it on the video. Don't feel like, just glance over that. Yeah, sorry, there's half a human head in the microwave. Like, don't what are you kidding? Like, don't. Sorry, Hitesh. I'm gonna mute you. All right, there you go. So that is, just own it, right? So that's all part of the move-in process. Okay, let's go to on day 7, which is the onboarding process. Now, if you get this right, they will love you. They will love you, because what I used to do, and I will tell you this, it is the best feeling in the world. Now, those of you who got rental properties, I just want to tell you, isn't this the best feeling in the world when you're driving away from your rental property and you're like 30 minutes from home, you've just moved them in, you're like 30 minutes away, and it's the resident calling you on your cell phone. Isn't that the most amazing feeling ever? Because you know why they're calling. It's to say, I'll paraphrase here. Mark, I love this property so very much, and I want to pay you more money. That's really why I'm calling. Please let me save you. Never in the history of ever has that conversation happened. This is probably more what it's like. This house has not been cleaned. My wife is so upset. She's literally driving away in the U-Haul right now, and I don't know where she's going. I can't live in this house. Does that sound maybe something like, yeah, I've read about it in books. I've never heard actually it ever happening. Yeah, of course it's happened. And it's like the worst feeling in the world. And you're like, oh my gosh, this literally took me forever to get this place rented. Like what can I do to salvage this? And now you're just scrambling around. That's because I was flying by the seat of my pants. I had no checklists in sight, and I did none of this right, okay? If you get this right now, day 7 is the last day where I will take them out of the onboarding. Okay, what I call it actually the honeypot. So the honeypot is after 3 days, and so why 3 days? I don't really know. It worked for Jesus, so why not? So 3 days, you call them and you say, hey, resident, how are things going? I know it's a shock, right? Why in the world would you do it? Because it used to be I would shut off my phone and change my name and hide under my bed once I got someone to move in, right? And until, of course, I wanted rent. Well, no. Get in front of them. Get in front of them and say, hey, how did things go with the move-in? Hey, I know that we missed the cleaning of the fridge. It needed a little bit of touch-up. We've got the cleaners on their way. They've already contacted you. I just want to make sure, is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, everything's fine. Just broke a couple things and my husband's back is out. I'm like, oh, does he is he a chiropractor kind of guy? Like, because I got somebody locally that they're like, oh, actually, that would be great, And my son's tooth is hurting because it's just he started really because I know a good dentist. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to pour into those folks? Because they're going to love you. They're going to be there. You are now an end-to-end solution for them, right? And it's like, yeah, now again, should you be doing this call? The answer is no. But someone in your process is doing this call, and that's easy for a virtual assistant to do. It is not hard, okay? Let's move on quickly from, now the day 7, if there's a rough move-in, I can kick that down that road a little bit from day 7 to like day 21 or day 30 or whatever. But I want to make sure that by the time they're removed from the honeypot, that all of their stuff has been at least addressed. It doesn't mean like, hey, I'm not going to rebuild the back half of the house. I'm sorry. Like, that's not going to happen, okay? Which some of them do. But this is what I'm doing. I'm going to address all your issues, and this is where it's going to be. If you round the horn there, the next one on the bottom, the first one on the bottom is day 30. Now, that's the first day of the collection cycle. Now, again, these numbers are a little bit arbitrary, but I do call it day 30. Day 30 is where they first collect, where you're collecting the first day of rent after they have moved in. Now, when you are getting rent, okay? When you're getting rent, please make it on the first day of the month, and don't just collect it. Well, if you've got 3 rental properties and one's on the 12th and one's on the 17th and one's on the 29th, please don't do that, because you are building an unscalable model. That is awful. It's not hard to prorate. Do the proration, make them pay the first month's rent up front, and then the second month you collect the prorated credit. Okay, you give them the prorated credit in the second month. Okay, now that's just the way that we do that here. So I know that your laws are a little bit different in terms of how you can collect security deposits and all that other stuff, but realistically, that's the way that I like to do it, as long as that's legal where you're at. So collecting the first month's rent up front, giving them the security deposit credit in the second month on the first day of the month. And then that day 30, it runs 11 times in a 12-month lease. Make sense? Can I get a thumbs up or anything like that? Yep. Okay, John, Laura. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Very good. Thank you, Hannah. All right. So this is what I'm talking about. So in terms of that cycle, now again, if they don't pay by a certain day, you give them maybe a grace period or whatever. But that collection cycle, it should already delineate out what happens when they have delinquent rent, when the late fees roll, when they get a pay or quit notice. All that stuff should be, and it should also be delineated out in terms of what a workout agreement should look like, and that should be in writing. You should never do a workout agreement that's not in writing, ever. And text message is not the same. I'm sorry. I want it in writing. Yeah, DocuSign is, for a lot of courts are recognizing DocuSign now. Just get it in writing. It's not hard. Just make sure you're getting something in writing. Just as a quick side note, I never put a workout agreement longer than the lease term, just so you know. All right, let's move on quickly to day 245. Day 245, the day 245 checklist, it checks 3 things. Now, it's 120 days prior to lease renewal. Why am I that far out from lease renewal? 120 days, Mark, that's 4 months. Yes, because there's stuff you have to do. The first thing to do is I'm going to do a market analysis. I'm going to look at what the market is doing, not just the rent market, but I'm looking at the housing market. What's the valuation doing? Okay, that's day 245. Then I'm going to look at the property. What do I have the best property in the worst neighborhood or the worst property in the best neighborhood? Are they tearing properties down next to me and building condos? What's the property doing? Am I going to need to bump up my my capital expenditure allocation for furnace, my furnace, because my furnace is probably not going to last another couple of years. So I need to make sure that I don't have these crazy swings in cash flow, which is, by the way, why so many buy and hold investors get out of the business, because they get these crazy swings in cash flow that they don't allocate for. So that's what you want to do. That you're looking at the market first. What are the rents doing? What's the equity? Is it still the best use of equity in my to hold it as a rental property? Should I maybe leverage up a little bit? Should I deleverage? What should I be doing in terms of what the market value is? Then you look at the property. Finally, I look at the resident. So market, property, then resident. What do you think I'm doing with the resident at that point in time?
Value resident or not?
Go ahead, Laura.
Expecting them going to raise the rent.
Maybe.
Your value is worth keeping. So if they met on time, if they've broken anything, or if they've given you trouble in the last however many months.
Absolutely right. And so when I do the property analysis, I'm going to the property. I'm looking at the property to see what the condition of the property is doing. And if the property's destroyed, I will do a security deposit allocation to say, look, you've got, if I'm going to renew you've already done $800 worth of damage. I'm sorry, I'm not going to wait for you to chew up the security, but I already know you've got $800 worth of damages. Why would I wait, right? So yeah, so I might charge them a security deposit allocation, but I also may charge them a renewal fee. Now, again, sometimes this isn't always legal in all the areas, so you got to check, but I do charge them a renewal fee. Look, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but I've got to pay people on my side and we ask them, we don't necessarily run credit again, but if they haven't been a total pain in the neck to work with, I will ask them, hey, look, will you, let me just put it this way. I don't want to rely on the assumptions that I made 8 months ago. If you renew somebody and what if old boy ran off with the babysitter, or the old girl ran off with the pool boy? right? Or they both are working jobs where they're making a third of what they did when they first moved in. If you renewed them, I'm going to sound a little harsh here. That's on you. That's not on them. Don't renew them. Don't set them up to fail. That's your fault, not theirs. So even though they may have been great residents, when you underwrite them, you go, look, you're making like half of what you made when you first moved in here. How are you living? Like, no offense, but I'm afraid I'm setting you up to fail here. If I don't, we got to mitigate some risk here, right? So that's where that's what I do is I underwrite them again. I re-underwrite them. I don't necessarily pull credit again, but I do want to make sure that I'm not relying on the assumptions that I made 8 months ago or whenever they first moved in. Does that make sense? Okay. And yes, I do charge them a renewal fee. Why? Because I've got time and expenses in this. I charge them $100. Yeah. And they're like, well, why am I paying $100? Well, you can move. Like, I don't really want you to, but whatever the market can bear. And that has become, it's not really a revenue source as it is as much as I'm just recovering the time that I have my people doing things, right? I make a little bit on it, not a ton, but that's every little bit matters. Okay. So day 365, at day 365, I know that if they're going to be going back to day 0 or back to day 1 at that point, right? I know, because this is what I don't want to have happen. Again, I've never done this, by the way, but when I go, oh crap, I think their lease has been expired since, I don't know, May, and it's October, and I have no idea if they moved out. Yep, guilty, done that, totally done that. So I don't want you I want you to negotiate from a position of strength. With you guys, that's probably before school starts, kids' school, right? Especially if you're renting single-family dwellings. So you want to make sure that you're negotiating from a position of strength. If it gets into October, November, you're not negotiating from strength anymore. You're negotiating from weakness. They've got the strength because they can go, well, we've only a 30-day month. We can move out, just give you 30 days notice. And that sucks. Okay. All right. So that's what the process looks like. So that's the VIP method. We're going to wrap up the VIP method now. Again, this is what we're talking about here is we're talking about some tactics. Okay. We talked about, the rules of the game, and now we're going to start talking a little bit how to play the game. All right. So let's look at the 4 core functions of any business, and we're going to start to we're going to go pretty quick through these. Okay. The 4 core functions of any business, here's where it is. It's lead gen. You can look at either marketing or lead gen, whatever you want to call it, but lead gen, sales, operations, and accounting. Lead gen, sales, operations, and accounting. Every business has to have those core 4 functions. Why is that? Do larger businesses need more functions? Yeah, they'll have HR functions and things like that. But Janice, you're asking renewal fee, good idea. How are you assessing without pulling credit? Generally, totally want to answer that question. I'm going to do this really fast. I'm assessing based on what they were like as residents while they were living there. But I don't pull it because I've already pulled the credit the first time. Okay, I don't want to pull a credit a second time, and I just don't. Now, if there's a lot of fur around it, then I might pull credit again. But generally, we don't. So I just want to answer that question there. Okay, there we go. All right, I think I got all the questions answered. So the 4 core functions. So what kind of businesses do we have in here? I saw some wholesalers, right? Go ahead and type it into the chat. Some wholesalers. I saw a couple people want to do some fix and flipping, right? I see that. There was some buy and hold investors in here. I heard someone talking about crypto. Now, crypto, I would not really necessarily call that a business, but again, if you're having a business where you're having this operational fulfillment piece, you have a business. If you're attracting a different avatar, you have 2 different. You have a business for every avatar. Let me point this out real quick. If you have a sorry, I keep losing track of my clicker, my pointer here. There we go. So if you have, let's say for argument's sake, a buy and hold business, okay, and you're the rental property operator, okay, you have you have identified a single avatar that you like working with. Now that avatar, in terms of the marketing and lead gen, that's the ideal client that you like to work with. Okay, think about that. So let's say that you identify with families with kids who live in a very desirable school district. Right? Does that exist in your area? I know it does. Okay, of course it does. Right? So you go, yeah, those houses in that area. Okay, let's put a pin in that for a second. Is there an avatar where, I don't know, 20 somethings could live where they might be close to a downtown bar district? Yeah, I know there is, in Boston especially, right? So those are two completely different avatar. I wouldn't know how to deal with the avatar in the 20-something world. I don't even know what's interesting to them, okay? But I do know the families really well because that's my avatar. I know everything they want. I know their problems. I know how to find them. I don't have a problem finding that avatar and giving them a product that is 100% what they're going to want. And they're going to tell all their friends when they move out. And I have people quite literally moving out the back door while people are moving in the front door, and I'm trying to clean and paint in the middle. That's when you're that specific with your avatar. That's also why I don't have all these different types of, mobile homes and firehouses and all these different types of properties, because it would be a mess trying to keep it all straight. I want my life to be simple. Okay. So that's my buy and hold business. Now, let me ask you something. If I had an acquisition business, let's say that for argument's sake, I was trying to grow my rental operation. Is that a different avatar that I'm trying to buy properties from someone? Yeah. Catherine, I see you're nodding your head. Some of you, think about this. If I'm renting, if I'm trying to attract a property for someone to rent from me, it's a different avatar from someone I'm trying to buy a property from. Does that make sense? Because they have different problems. They have different whatevers. This guy might be an out-of-state investor that is he got this property in a state from his uncle that he never liked. Oh, well, okay, I just kind of let it run, and they paid rent. I don't know. Well, now I know how to attract that avatar, right? I look at that as two separate lead gen sources and therefore two separate businesses. That's why I don't, right now, my acquisition business is kind of mothballed. I'm really not looking for stuff right now. That said, I had 6 units land in my lap last summer. I was like, I really don't want these deals. And then they made it such a good offer, or they accepted an offer that I was like, I don't really know. Would you be willing to do no money down, no finance? I didn't say it this way, but what I wound up with was no money down, and 0% financing. Over the course of one set of deals was it would be done in 8 and 30 years, so it was 100 payments, and one would be done in 15 years with no interest. I was like, you're saying yes to that? Okay. I was like, okay, fine. I mean, I suppose, but I wasn't out trying to to chase people down. I'm looking at the chat here really quick. Are you verbally asking about their current jobs? Like, no, I actually have them fill out an app. I actually have them send pay stubs on that, Janice. Buy and hold. I'm looking at wholesale rehab to start and then move on to buy. Okay, very good. All right. I feel like we've got everybody here. Okay, yeah. So everybody in here understands that it's a different avatar that you're trying to attract. Just like if you're trying to attract an avatar as a wholesaler, it's a different conversation than someone that you're trying to buy from. So if you look at the marketing and lead gen, if you look at the slide, identifying your client avatar is really, really important, because remember what we talked about in your infrastructure portion. That is your part of the infrastructure is your again, it's the desks, the chairs, and software and stuff like that, but it's also your asset class selection, right? So if I knew that the avatar that I want to work with is, let's say, nurses around a teaching hospital, why would I buy a property that's not going to align with that? Or if I want to work with airline pilots because I was an airline pilot and I have an in on that market, why would I want to buy a property that they wouldn't be interested in, right? Knowing what they want, right? So this is why it's important for you to identify an ideal client avatar. I know my avatar really, really well for coaching. They're Jim and Sarah. They're married. They've got a business that a home business, generally not a home business, but a family business that they're working, and they are time weary. And then they try to get into some buy and hold investing, thing that they're going to get quote unquote passive income. I'm using my air quotes here. And then all of a sudden, what they realize is they created a whole other job for themselves. They've got 2 kids, and if you've got teenagers, all you're doing is driving them from one sporting event to the other. That's all you're doing, right? So you're very, very time weary. Now, That's my bullseye from my avatar. If they don't hit my bullseye, does that mean I won't work with them? No, I've got people who are 25 years old that I work with. Just because they don't hit the bullseye doesn't mean I won't work with them. I'll still take people who are in 8, 9, or 10 ring. But if they're in the 7 ring, I'm like, man, you know what? It's just not a good fit. And I'm okay to say no to them. And I'll give them, I mean, I'm not going to say, be a jerk about it, but I don't want to take on someone that is not a good fit. Just like I'm going to try to talk someone into like a 20-something living in the suburbs. They'd be miserable. Why would I want to do that? Okay. So that's the getting a real clear client avatar. Now, first, the next thing is the cold, warm, and hot traffic. Cold, warm, and hot traffic. We're going to go through this really quick. Cold traffic just basically means that they are problem aware. They are very aware of their problem. So let's look at let's shift this over to client acquisition or property acquisition here for a second, because I heard a lot of people are really trying to buy properties right now. Cold traffic means that they are problem aware. Means that they have a property, they don't know what to do with it, and they just have this problem. They are buy and hold investors. Maybe they're worn out. They live out of state. All they know is they have this problem. They're very problem aware. Okay. Warm traffic is problem aware and they are solution aware. That means they know they have this problem with this crap property. They live out of state, blah, 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 and they really don't want it anymore. Oh, wait a minute. There are investors at the Boston REIA that probably will buy it and pay them something decent, right? Oh, right? Kelly, absolutely. So now they're like, wait a minute. If I could get in front of an investor, because the realtor didn't want to touch it because it was, not worth their time, because it was, it's kind of a lower end property or whatever reason, right? But, or it needed a lot of work or whatever it is. But for us, what does that smell like? It smells like money. Right? That's why we love properties. Absolutely. We love properties like that. We'll make deals on that stuff all day. Now, again, as long as it's in alignment with my avatar. I don't want stuff in the war zone. I do want stuff that's in alignment with my avatar. So if that's in my buy box, absolutely. So we've got cold traffic, which is problem aware, warm traffic, which is problem aware and solution aware, and hot traffic is all three problem aware, solution aware, and they are you aware. That is hot traffic. And when you can get your hot traffic, now most of the money you're going to make in your cold traffic, that's converting them over and going, hey, let me attract you. Oh, you have this problem? Let's talk. That's where the real money is. Now, hot traffic is, yes, they know you. And honestly, that's how those 6 deals landed in my lap last summer, is it was hot traffic. They came to me. They knew that I was a real estate guy, local real estate guy, and it was someone that they wanted to do business with, someone that they could trust. I would pay him a reasonable amount, and I did, because they were willing to accept my terms, so I paid them a reasonable price. What did I care? Would you accept whatever the purchase price? Yeah. Well, oh, okay. Then here's your payments. Oh, okay. They never asked. They never even asked for interest. I just told them what their payments were going to be. So that's the difference between cold, warm, and hot traffic. So why is that important? Well, in terms of the lead gen, you have to know how you're marketing to people, because the conversation that you're going to have to cold traffic is different than the conversation you're going to have with warm traffic, which is different from the conversation you're going to have with hot traffic. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, it's important, because I see some people that are sending out letters to cold traffic that's like, whoa, 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 it's too much too fast. Let's have a date first. Don't ask to marry me on the first date. It's too much too soon. You gotta warm it up a little bit. Pour a glass of wine, light a candle, right? Something like that. You gotta warm it up. Okay? So those are 3 different conversations that you're having when you're attracting your avatar. It's really important that you understand that no matter what business that you're in. Now, there's also 10 reasons why people buy. Now, these are going to be, I'm going to say these a couple times, so I'm going to say them fast, and then we're going to move on to the sales function. So the 10 reasons why people buy, I don't care what it is. It is to make money, save time, avoid effort, escape pain. Those are the first 5. Make money, save time, avoid effort, and escape pain. Think of every infomercial you've ever watched. Make money, save time, avoid effort, escape pain. Right? Think about this for a second. Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Right? Think of those, and you're all like, you had to bring up that commercial, which we've all seen them, right? What are they doing? They're like, well, you're not going to make money, but what you'll do is you're going to save money by working with us. And you're going to save a lot of time. And it would just make it easy for you. Just turn it all over to us. And you can escape the pain of all those uncertain phone calls and stop those harassing letters, was what they say, right? That's how and the many boxes that you can check when you understand your avatar that well, that's again, how can you help your avatar make money? And get real specific on that. Get as many reasons as you can how you can help your avatar make money. How can you help your avatar save money? How can you help your avatar save time, avoid effort, escape pain? Those are the first 5. The next 5 are to gain more comfort, better health, feel more love, gain praise, and increase their status. We'll say it again. More comfort, better health, feel more love, gain praise, and increase their status. So if I'm in that tax commercial, right, could I help them gain more comfort? Yeah, I want to give them more comfort because we've got years of experience. We're going to take care of that. More comfort, absolutely. Better health, lower your blood pressure because now you're not going to have to worry about it anymore. Now we've got it taken care of, right? I'm making a stretch here, but that's the point. That's how deep you got to go on some of this. Feel more love. Now you don't have to, your spouse will love you more because now you don't all these back taxes anymore, right? Gain praise, increase their status, whatever that is. Again, more comfort, better health, feel more love, gain praise, increase their status. Once you know your avatar that well and you can answer those questions to a very deep level and you know your avatar that well, they will come running to you. That's exactly what happened to me last summer with those 6 different deals. Okay? So any question on that before we move on? We good? All right, so we're going to rock and roll. All right, so the core 4 functions, again, look, we talked about marketing and lead gen. Now we're going to talk about the sales and closing process. A lot of sales and closing. Now, again, this is different. Marketing and lead gen is just letting the world know that you exist. It lets the world know that you're in business. It is just getting the lead into the funnel. Now you have to do something with that. Okay? We have to do something with that. So a lot of times, especially with higher end stuff, you might have a setter and a closer, right? That would be something that would be, or a leasing agent, for example, or if you're in the wholesaling business, you have to have some sort of automated function. I want to make a really quick point about this. I'm going to go back one slide to the lead gen. This is right here. This is where a lot of people are struggling right now. You have to automate your lead gen in some way. If it's analog right now and you're doing it all manually, you're wasting a lot of time. You have to find some ways to automate your lead gen. Otherwise, you're going to become the bottleneck. And again, in your case right now, no matter what business that you're in, anytime that you're the bottleneck, you have to remove yourself anytime you're the bottleneck. Anytime information flows through you in order for something to happen, you're the bottleneck. Okay? So let's move on to sales and closing. So obviously we talked about the setter and the closer, but we also need to understand the 6 principles of persuasion. Now, if anybody has read Robert Cialdini's book it's called Influence, fantastic book. Any salesperson will tell you it's probably one of the better books they've ever read. If you're interested in getting better with sales, it's a really hard book to read. It's a little bit easier to listen to on Audible, and I'm actually a kinesthetic. Like, I like to read and write in my books and draw obscene things in there, but that's why I never loan my books, by the way. I have too much learning in there, too much kinesthetic. Yeah, that's important to me. But it's a fantastic book. Again, Robert Cialdini, Caildini, Cialdini, I think is how he spells it. But it's a book called Influence. Now, those 6 things of influence, or 6 principles of influence, or of persuasion, rather, 6 principles of persuasion. They are reciprocity. The reciprocity rule is that if I give you something of high perceived value, you're going to want to give something back to me, right? So I'm giving you something of perceived high value. Now, again, who perceives the high value? You do. It's up to you. You guys determine the value, right? If I'm giving you a toothpick, well, right now wood is really expensive. But if I give you like, a rock or something, it's not going to matter. Like, you're like, this is silly. Why am I? Yeah, this is meaningless, right? So it's got to be something of perceived high value. Now, again, that's why they don't have the Hare Krishnas anymore in the airports, because they were really good at guilting you into giving them lots of money. And they would give you a rose, and you're like, oh, crap, and then you'd give them $20, and then you'd walk down, you're like, I don't want to carry this rose around with me, so you throw the rose away in the trash can, and then you go on your way. And one of the Hare Krishnas would go around and pick up all the trash cans, get the roses, because everybody do the same thing, and resell them. It was brilliant, right? I mean, it was absolutely amazing. But the reciprocity rule was in full effect there. The next thing is commitment and consistency. Now, commitment and consistency means like you make a small commitment, and because we view consistency as a positive trait, right, and inconsistency as a negative trait, we want to stay consistent, right? So, and this is, I understand now why there are some women who do not want to get, do not want a guy to pay for their drinks at a bar. They don't, because they're like, oh man, this guy's gonna buy my drink, and now I'm gonna have to sit and talk to him, and like I feel like I'm seeing some people smiling, like, yep, that's exactly how it is, and I just want to sit here and enjoy my drink. Like, thank you, but man, like I'll buy my own drink, right? That's commitment and consistency, because you make these micro commitments along the way, and then all of a sudden this guy buys me a drink, and then somehow I'm going to wind up in the trunk of a car. Like, no, I'm not doing this, right? So I'm not, but I'm just kidding, of course, but I'm just saying that's what happens with a commitment and consistency in terms of the persuasion. So again, when someone makes a micro commitment, like, hey, I'm going to trade you an email for something that's highly desirable, or hey, I'm going to send you a letter I'll give you a free assessment of your property in terms of its valuation. And you don't have to worry about doing a deal with me or not. I'll just come out and take a look and give you a fair price on what you think your property is, right? I'm going to go there. I'm going to try to get a relationship with them, because again, you guys have learned in the REIA group that this is a relationship type business. Okay. So next thing is social proof. Social proof is, again, lacking of any other information, you will do what other people will have you do. Okay. Like you're going to say, all right, well, lack of any other information, I'm just going to, like, if everybody jumped up and ran out of the room, you'd go, well, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to run out of the room too, right? That's social proof. So reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking. Liking is not only do I like the person, which certainly helps, but are they like me, right? If I'm a white male, they're white male, right? If I'm a Catholic female, oh, I relate with Catholic females, right? Whatever it is, but are they like me, right? So there's a liking component to as well to the persuasion. Again, reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority. Do I have authority? Do I have a clipboard? Do I have a lab coat? What it is? What gives me the authority? Am I a published author? Things like that. And finally, is scarcity. Now, you'll notice the scarcity rule is in full play here. Does anybody remember how many books I had when I started? How many books of these did I have?
1.
I had 1. How many of these did I have?
4.
5.
5.
5. Which one went first?
The 5.
This one went first. The one book went first. It's because it's scarcity. And no matter what it is I do this with, it almost always works. Sometimes it's backfired on me, but almost always works, where the scarcity rule always kicks into place, because it's just like, hey, what is more desirable, a big plate of cookies or where there's one cookie left? It's like, man, those must be great cookies, okay? So again, reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. Those are the 6 principles of persuasion. The next 2 principles we're going to have to go kind of quick on, because there's really not much to say. In terms of, so you've got the marketing and lead gen, the sales and closing, and operations and fulfillment. If you're going to get stuck, here's where you're going to get stuck, is in the operation. Here's the thing. You're either going to get stuck in someone else's operation in the form of a job, or you're going to get stuck in your own operation in the form of a job. This is where, if you're going to get stuck, this is where you're going to get stuck. In the accounting, if you're going to ignore something, this is what you're going to ignore, is the accounting. And generally it goes like this. Well, I've got more money in my checking account this month than last month, so I must be doing okay. Catherine, don't laugh, because this is me. No one else has ever done this, okay? It's just me. But I must be doing okay because there's more money in my account this month than last month. That's not accounting. Guys, Marcus Lemonis of The Prophet said, if you don't have accounting, you don't have a business. And that is so incredibly true. So that is, now, all of these different skill sets here. Now, this is what I talk about. I have a 2-day course I'm going to talk about here at the very end. But this is why entrepreneurs struggle, is because they're trying to do all 4 of these things, and they're all 4 different skill sets to be great at them. And probably there's a couple things in there that you might like to do, but this right here is why entrepreneurs struggle. So what I'm going to get into right now, we talked about how to play. Now we're going to talk a little bit on how to win. And the reason why people struggle with winning is because they don't recognize this piece of real estate up in here. Okay. So first and foremost, let me ask you, has this been helpful? Has this been helpful so far? I mean, okay, I'm getting some thumbs up. All right, good. All right, good. Thank you. Because this really, right here, this is the bones of the business in terms of how you need to, all the things you need to be thinking about when you're building any business. I oversee 7 different businesses, and I don't spend a whole heck of a lot of time with my chief of staff. She brings stuff to me. I look at it. We look at the metrics, and then we move on. But this is the one thing that I notice that holds me up, and I got to be really careful that when, now, let me just ask you a couple of things. Now, when I feel like I've got the whole world against me and I've got these limiting beliefs that are just telling me that I'm not worthy, I'm entering into self-sabotage, I've got some self-punishment, self-defeating behaviors going on. Now, let me ask you something really quick. Do any of these sound familiar? Again, I'm not asking anybody to raise their hand, but just maybe go, oh, yeah, maybe, okay. Procrastination. Does anybody suffer from procrastination? Okay, I know I do. By the way, this is all confession, not judgment. So I'm just letting you know this is how this goes. Seeking perfection, right? Seeking perfection, by the way, is fear of being judged by someone else. It's fear of criticism is really what it is seeking perfection. Doing the unnecessary. Well, you've got a lot of really cool things to do, but none of it's really relevant. None of it's going to move the needle. Hiding inactivity. A lot of meaningless activity. I was a professional at hiding inactivity. Boy, I was super busy, not really getting a whole lot done. Or hiding an inactivity where you've got so much to do, you don't even know what to start on first. Lying to yourself, that's like, oh, hey, I know it's going to take 30 minutes to get across town. Let me get this one more email returned, even though I am already 5 minutes late. I'll get there in time, right? You're lying to yourself, right? Again, it's self-sabotaging behavior. Setting impossible standards because no one else can do it unless you're doing it. So you're setting yourself up to fail. Not finishing things. And this also goes hand in hand, starting too many things, allowing distractions to exist in your life. This is also chasing too many rabbits, chasing too many different things, okay? Accepting a lower standard. If your house is a mess, you're allowing that. If your car is a mess, you're allowing that. If your bank account is a mess, you're allowing that. You're allowing that lower standard to exist in your life. Not rewarding yourself, not giving yourself downtime, always doing the hustle. And I recognize what that looks like in the real estate world. That's what that looks like. Fear of failure, fear of success. Again, I had a massive fear of success. Fear of success is really about fear of loss. Like I was doing things because I was afraid of success. False arrogance. Everything's great. Dude, everything's not great. Like your house is literally on fire. Like you're burning. Everything's not great. Again, rescuing others. I was the king of rescuing other people. Why was I rescuing other people? Why do we rescue others? Because it's easier than fixing ourselves. And I'm sorry if this sounds a little harsh, but that's the kind of coach I am. Is I need to call these things out so you guys can know how to address this stuff. I know we're getting lean on time. We're just about done. Complaining to other people. Do you ever notice that you're complaining to the wrong person? We go to our jobs and complain about our spouse, and then we go to our spouse and complain about our jobs. Right? I mean, what's that about? Okay. Thinking that I've arrived, which I was the king of that, I made 20 grand this month. I don't have to work anymore. No, like that's just dangerous. Gossiping or comparison is just the thief of joy. Being late all the time, not following through on commitments. Again, buying things that are not earned, and about 12,000 things that take away from the compounding effect of effort. Now, if you look at the screen, I truly believe that and I'll read this really quick, the effort has a cumulative effect. Doing enough of the right things and avoidance of the wrong things consistently compounds on previous efforts. Over time, results compound until they hockey stick until greater levels of success. So if you notice that it kind of goes up a little bit and it builds. But what I noticed that I was doing is that my life looked more like this, that I'd get a little bit of success. I might make 10 grand on a deal, and then I'd go to Vegas. And then I would work my way up above that success line, and I might pay off a credit card, and then I'd buy a car, right, using credit. I was doing this thing waffling back and forth from the success and struggle line all the time. So it's not just about not doing enough of the right things. It's about avoidance of the self-sabotaging behaviors that exist in your life. So how do you do this? Well, we're going to talk about this here in a second, but you got to change your base program. I know, earlier they're talking about, Walter was talking about the self-sabotaging and the NLP and the hypnosis and stuff like that. That definitely does help. Changing your daily habits, doing affirmations, meditation, reprogramming. All of this stuff will definitely help, because you've got to recognize that you're the problem. You're the one. This piece up here, this is the most amazing computer ever in the world, yet we download crappy software in there and hold on to crappy software thinking somehow it's going to repay us in some way if I hold on to this hurt. Hey, look at this hurt that I had back in high school. Isn't it really cool? I'm going to hold on to it and drag it around with me. Dude, that limiting belief no longer serves you. Get rid of it. Okay? So, all right. Now, I know we're kind of lean on time. I want to save some time to answer some questions. How about this? I do have a 2-day event that's coming up. How about we talk about that? I'm happy to stick around for some questions, because I know some of you may have to go. Is that okay if I do that real quick? And then if anybody wants to go, you're not interested, I promise you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'll stick around for some questions. Is that okay with you guys? Does that work? All right. It'll take literally just a couple minutes. So what I have is I have an event called the Time Wealthy Advantage. It's creating lasting change in your business and in your life. Now, I do this virtually, so it's the next event that I have is February the 19th and 20th. It's a full 2-day event, and again, it's just like this. It's not death by PowerPoint. I ask a lot of questions. I engage with you guys. So I just want to make sure that you guys knew what it is. Now, what are we going to be covering? You're going to be building a business that doesn't take up all of your time, so you can go live your life. That's the whole point of that. We talk about eliminating self-sabotaging behaviors like procrastination, seeking perfection, rescuing others. Once and for all, you can finally be done with all that stuff. Everything that we talked about, we're going to go into a much deeper level in that 2-day event. And then establishing a clear vision for your life and in your business. Most people, when I talk to them, they struggle in the vision piece. Even if they think that they're clear on their vision, many people do struggle with that. So we talk about that as well and give you some tools in your toolbox for that. How to set goals that stick. Does anybody know that person from high school that's, 15 years into their 5-year plan? I didn't say that backwards, right? They're 15 years into their 5-year plan. You're like, man, come on, like you're driving the same Camaro, like you're not that cool anymore, right? Like it's time for you to actually, how would you like to have at the end of 2022, stop recycling all those same goals that you've been recycling over and over and over. And we do that in the 2-day masterclass. And then finally, set yourself up with positive daily habits to give you the best chance of lasting success. So a lot of times I know after these 2-day events, what ends up happening is Monday morning and you've got this blinking cursor and you've done nothing, the implementation piece. This is what's going to set you up for all the implementation and integration. This is not one of those courses where I pitch to you the entire time. It is full on teaching you the entire 2 days. It's a lot. And I can tell you every single time that a person goes through this, they are worn out. And honestly, if you are not happy with this, I will even give you your money back. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Normally, I charge $397 for one person and $497 for two, but because it's going to be virtual, I have a price for you guys. It's just $97. What I will do, and I mentioned earlier, if you want to get a copy of the Time Wealthy Investor, I will. If you order it tonight, if you go ahead and sign up tonight, I'll send out a copy of the Time Wealthy Investor for you. And like I said, I'll even sign it if it will make it pretty much worthless at that point. You can't even give it away. What I will also do is I will give you a 60-minute coaching session prior to the event. Now, here's the thing. I know some of you, it's in a couple of weeks. It's February 19th and 20th. If you have a conflict on that date, that ticket will still be good forever. Don't worry about I have a date tentatively set in March. I just need to make sure that I'm not going to be bumping up against another speaking engagement. But I host these about once a month. So if you can't make the February 19th and 20th, I'm sure there'll be another date in March or April or whatever, but you still get the book, The Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, and you get the free 60-minute coaching session. It is not a hard sell coaching conversation or anything like that. If you go to the screen right now, go to the landlord class masterclass, last link on there. Just click on that link. That will take you to the sign up page, and that's all I have. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for an extra 6 minutes. I know we went a little long in the beginning, but I'm happy to stick around, answer any questions for you guys. And you guys have been a ton of fun. I don't know. I don't know if it's just you guys from Boston have a different energy, but usually when I do these on Zoom, it's like I'm exhausted. I'm actually pumped up. So you guys have made it a lot of fun tonight. So thanks so much, and I'll stick around for some questions if you guys have any.
Hey, Mark, thanks very much for that. That was super. And, this is, the thing that we just enjoy doing, meeting, networking. I think everybody, just to go back into our group is, you have to be around like-minded, successful people to succeed. And that's what's going to make us better and better. So everyone that came to us on the call tonight, thank you very much for attending. Like I said, please make use of your time. The chat there, you're going to have to copy and paste. I did record tonight, so I will be posting that in the members area in a few days, along with the chat box if you haven't been able to copy and paste it. But, make every effort to follow up with people into the chat. So it's all here. Your network is your net worth. We negotiate for great deals on training. These 2-day trainings are usually a lot more. Mark's doing this for 2 days. So Mark, what were the days again on that? I didn't pick up on that.
Oh, it's February the 19th and 20th.
Okay, so that's basically 2 weeks from now to give people plenty of time to set aside. And Mark, if they cannot attend the 2 days, I'm assuming you can record that and they'll still get access to that along with the call.
Well, what they'll do is they'll be available for one either in March or April or whatever. So they don't ever lose the value of their ticket. They can use that ticket anytime. And quite frankly, once they pay once, I don't actually charge people a second time. If they want to come through the course a number of different times, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I really don't. I just don't want to say it's like a lifetime ticket because what if I die? I mean, eventually I will, So, and right now I know this isn't a scalable business because I just love doing what I do. I love to teach. I love to coach, and I know I went a little heavy on the teaching tonight, but I love it. I love doing this. So I won't be recording it, and the reason I don't record it is because sometimes we get into a little bit of deeper emotional stuff that I really feel like kind of icky if someone's sharing something. So and every group's a little bit different. So I want people to be authentic and start to share stuff. So we don't record it for that reason, but they're more than welcome to hit me up, and I can let them know the March and April and May dates as soon as I know those. So if they can't make those dates work, I promise there's always a weekend that would probably work for them in the future.
Okay. Well, for everyone on the call, I have put the link to register for his training in the chat box. So that link will be staying the same if you get it tonight or you get next week or you end up deciding to do it in May. So that is landlordmasterclass.net/Boston REIA. And that gets you in that class for just $97 for a 2-day event. I think it's a brilliant deal. So we are going to open up to any other questions. So just please raise your hand or just ask me to unmute. And I guess just raise your hand on the box so I can unmute you or unmute yourself. Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. And Duncan, thank you. I just had a question, Mark. How did you find yourself kind of tailoring to this market of folks who run businesses from their home or family businesses, like you said?
How did I determine that avatar?
Yeah.
Well, originally, so it's kind of funny you asked that. So originally when I wrote the book, The Time Wealthy Investor original, when you first write a book, you're like, oh, this book is for everybody, right? It's for, mom and pop buy and hold investors. And it's also for property managers. And it's also for people who want to get into rental property investing, right? So I had these 3 different avatar that were very, very different because they had very, very different problems, right? A mom and pop who have 35 rental rentals with no infrastructure has a very different set of problems than than an early investor who has no units, right? Who just literally doesn't even understand what a mortgage is or escrow or anything like that, right? They have a very different set of problems, and they have a very different set of problems than a property manager. Now I can speak to all three, okay? But the reason why, when I started trying to have that conversation in an outbound marketing program, I was trying to have that same conversation with all three people. I was like, it was so incongruent. I couldn't do it. So it wasn't until I got really, really serious about who it was that I really wanted to work with. I've worked with property managers. I've worked with early investors, but really who I love to work with are those people who, in terms of coaching, like I have a higher end coaching program, but, in terms of working with them, I like that because they usually come to me with so many other problems in their current business, and I end up fixing those first, and they're like, wow, that was like way easier. And it's just because I have this weird ability to connect certain dots. I love working with them. Now, I'm not saying I won't. Again, not saying it, like I said, there's a gal right now who she's a bartender. She's going for her real estate license. She's 25 years old. But here's the thing that really caught my attention with her. She's a single mom, and she saved, mind you, $90,000 in her bank account. She saved it. I went, whoa, you have what in your bank account? And she was able to save that. And the reason why she saved that is because she recognized she wanted a better life. I said, let's have a conversation. And it's not because I thought that, oh, cool, I can charge a lot of money for coaching. It was because she was serious about being in business, but she didn't have a clue. And she's so incredibly coachable. I love working with her. Okay. So in her case, he wasn't a bullseye, but she was definitely in I'd say the 8 or 9 ring. Right. So that's when I got really clear in terms of who I was attracting. Now, because that's who my ideal is, other people are still going to come to me, and I get to determine if I want to do business with them. And that's a really good place to be.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that gives insight to a lot of different aspects, even as different types of investors who are trying to, tackle their own problems.
I will tell you, it's really scary to niche down. I will tell you but there are folks who do who are teaching, all this different stuff, but there's a reason why they say the riches are in the niches. And I'm in like a niche of a niche of a niche. And I'm so far down in that. Now, again, I like working with married couples too. Not saying I wouldn't work with someone who's not married, but I like working with them because I am married and I know how easy it is to be married, right? Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. The people who are married laugh. Yeah, well, it's really easy. If my wife ever sees this, it's really easy because I'm married to her, right? So we'll just say that. Hopefully, she'll see this video sometime. But no, it's tough. It's really tough to be married, and I recognize a lot of those struggles also happen because of that's being borne by the business. So it's just something else that I like to do. But again, that's just again, I'm almost in like 3 or 4 niches down, and I'm okay with that. If someone comes to me and says, hey, I'm not this niche of a niche of a niche, but would you work with me? I still do consider that.
Cool.
So,
well,
yep.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mark.
Happy to. Thanks for a good question.
Mark, we have Pankaj. I hope I said that right. Next up.
Yeah, so that's right, Mark. Sorry, my light is like very bad, so you will see my black face and white kind of thing. I have background, so I don't want to show on the video, but I can ask my question. My question is, Mark, when you provide these kind of trainings, right? So will it end after the training, or will you become a mentor, or something kind of mentorship is also there to the people?
Yeah, I mean, I do offer that. The thing is, I don't put like my coaching on, like, you can't go to my website and just sign up for my coaching. I'm kind of, and I do that on purpose because I don't want people to sign up for something that we don't even know if we're going to click. I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. That's okay. So, but I will say that everybody does need to have, like you guys said, a coach or a mentor. Oh, here we are. We're back in this again. Everybody should have a coach or a mentor or something like that. So in your case, at the end, if it makes sense, we'll get on a call. and we'll talk about that. But I don't really, that 2 days is a full solid days of teaching and coaching, and it's going to leverage off of everything that I teach in those 2 days. So if it's something you want to talk about after the fact, then totally fine. But generally, I don't like the best that you could do right now if you're looking at coaching would be to the best avenue for you would be to sign up for the 2-day event, go through the 2-day event, see what I'm about. And again, if you think I'm full of crap or you don't really like what I'm teaching, like I said, I'll give you oh man, I love this. I'll even give you your money back. I have no intention of keeping anybody's money if they don't see value.
I understand, Mark. The great thing, what I learned about this program is I'm excited about it. I will come to the training. I don't know whether I can do in February or March or whatever.
Okay.
But I will definitely come. But the good thing about it is like, I like the way you're presenting about how to create the vision and then the infrastructure and the process kind of thing. So yes, I am a real estate investor. Yes, I hold a few rental properties. Yes, I'm trying to grow as much as I can. But at the same time, I want to build a process which can cut my hours, my personal hours, and build a team and cut and use that time for my family and for whatever I want to do. So that kind of like mentorship, I am looking forward. So after 2 days classes, I will get the ideas, like how I should do that. But those 2 days will not be sufficient to tell me everything and to take me where I want to go. So that's why I was asking, like, will there be any mentorship kind of thing available after the training from you or somebody else? Or I don't know how it will go from there.
Not for the 97, but there is. I can tell you after the 2-day coaching, if you liked everything, then we'll talk about that then. So yes, it's not for the 97 at the end of the 2 days. You just get the 2 days. But we also get on the one-to-one coaching. If you sign up tonight, you'll get the one-to-one coaching call with me, and you get it with me. You don't get it with anybody else. It's just me. I'm, for better or for worse, this is who you're going to be talking to. So, and then we can talk more about it then. But if it's, but after the 2 days, usually, some people feel like they want to self-prescribe, which I totally understand, or they're just not ready. And I get that. I'm not here to push something on that someone's not ready for. But if they're ready, then we can certainly talk about that too.
So one last quick question is like, will this deal end tonight? I'm feeling sleepy. I want to go and sleep. But can I click on this link tomorrow and pay $97 still, or that $97 will go tomorrow morning?
The only concern is I actually might run out of books. And then it would be a while before you get the books in, because I have to order some in, and usually it takes a little bit of time. So I don't know exactly how many I've got. So I'm looking over in the corner and I don't see as many as I thought I had. So that might be the only problem. There might be a little bit of a delay in getting that book out to you. But yeah, and Duncan's going to put the link up on the video anyway. So I would, go ahead. If you want to go on there and save the link and get on there tomorrow. All I would say is, if you're going to do it, do it. I know you're sleepy. It literally will take you, I heard a couple people signed up already. So it's like literally probably less than a minute to sign up. So it's not a weird, long, complex way to sign up, but it's up to you. I'm not trying to pressure you. It's just, it's not that complex. It's just filling out a form.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Yep, my pleasure.
Really a great session. I enjoyed it, and I will join that $97 class.
Very good. It's good to see. Thanks for the question, Pankaj.
Thanks, Mark.
How big is this master class? I just signed up, because you can sign up while people are talking.
Yeah.
How big is the class, like usually the 2-day class?
I try to keep it.
How big is the event? Like, how many people usually attend? Is it?
Yeah, I try to keep it actually pretty small. Once it starts to get above like 30, it starts to get too unwieldy. And so I don't like it above 30. So this is not like trying to be a money grab or anything. I could sell a lot more. I just don't like to. It sucks, because I feel like at the end I don't know anybody. So I do like to keep it. Ideally, I like to keep it like, between 10 and 20. But when you start to get above 30, it just gets to be too much. So, but yeah, that's generally around the. But I'm not limiting it to you guys, and I know there was 30, 30 or so people on the call tonight, so there'll be plenty if everybody signed up, which but there would be plenty for plenty of room for the event. All right.
All right, guys. Well, I think, and I don't see any other questions or texts that came through to me. So I'll be posting this if you want to re-listen to it in the members area in a few days. The link is in the chat. Make sure you copy and paste it if you want it to chat sooner than later. But thanks again, and look out for our other events happening on our calendar. Make sure you're in our newsletter to get that. And we'll see you at our next month's general meeting. Everybody have a good evening. Thanks again, Mark.
Mark,
Thanks
thank
again,
you
Lisa.
very much. Great information.
And
It was
yeah,
my pleasure, guys.
Yeah, and text Kelly if you want a membership. Lots and lots and lots of benefits there. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.